Hi, welcome to the lecture on wave motion. In this lecture, we will trying to understand the basic properties of mechanical waves and their characteristics. So what are waves? Waves occur whenever a system is disturbed and the disturbance can propagate from one position of the medium to another. The ripples on a pond, the sound produced by a musical instrument such as violin, guitar, etc., or the seismic tremors that are produced by earthquake, these are all examples of wave phenomenon. What are the consequences of wave motion? Light from sun warms the surface of earth and seismic waves can often cause cracks on the surface of earth. So we cannot see waves, but we can definitely feel its presence. Waves are classified into mechanical waves and non-mechanical waves. Mechanical waves are those which require a material medium for propagation. Non-mechanical waves are those which does not require a medium for their propagation. Electromagnetic waves such as light, microwaves, infrared, X-rays, UV rays, radio waves, these are all examples for non-mechanical waves. Mechanical waves are again classified based on the vibration of the particles of the medium or based on the energy they transfer. Based on the vibration of the particles of the medium, they are classified into transverse waves and longitudinal waves. In transverse waves, the particles vibrate perpendicular to the direction of wave propagation, and in longitudinal waves, the particles vibrate parallel to the direction of wave propagation. Based on the energy transfer, they are classified into standing waves and progressive waves. Standing waves are those waves which carry or which transfer no energy and momentum, and progressive waves are those waves which transfer energy and momentum from one place to another. So in this lecture, we will be focusing on to transverse waves and longitudinal waves. Now let us analyze the different varieties of mechanical waves. The first one is the transverse wave. In this example, the medium is a string or a rope under tension. If we give a small upward shake or a wiggle at one end of the string, the wave disturbance propagates along the whole length of the string. Successive sections of the string go through the same motion that we gave to the end, but at successively later times. Because the displacement of the medium are perpendicular or transverse to the direction of travel of the wave along the medium, this is called a transverse wave. The second type of wave motion is known as a longitudinal wave. The medium that we consider in this example is a tube that is filled with a fluid or gas. We assume that the right end of the tube is fixed and the left end of the tube is fixed with a movable piston. When we give a pressure in the piston, the particles inside the medium will undergo a to and fro motion along a horizontal direction. And such kinds of waves are known as longitudinal waves. As the wave passes, each particle of the fluid moves forward and then backward parallel to the motion of the wave itself, as we see in this diagram. You can actually see that the particle that is indicated by a red dot moves along a horizontal direction, forward and then back. The third type of wave motion is a wave with both longitudinal and transverse components. As an example, we consider a fluid that is enclosed inside a channel, and we assume that there is a sliding arrangement by which we can create a disturbance inside the medium. When we move that flat board at the left and forward and back once, a wave disturbance travels down the length of the channel. In this case, the displacements of the water have both longitudinal and transverse components. Each of these systems has an equilibrium state. For the stretched string, it is a state in which the system is at rest, stretched out along a straight line. For the fluid in a tube, it is a state in which the fluid is at rest with uniform pressure. And for the liquid in the channel, it is a smooth, level water surface. In each case, the wave motion is a disturbance from the equilibrium state that travels from one region of the medium to another. And in each case, there are forces that tend to restore the system to its equilibrium position when it is displaced. It is just like the force of gravity that pull a pendulum towards its equilibrium position when the mass is displaced to one of the extreme positions. These examples have three things in common. First, in each case the disturbance travels or propagates with a definite speed through the medium. This speed is called the speed of propagation, or simply the wave speed. Its value is determined in each case by the mechanical properties of the medium. Keep in mind that the wave speed is not the same as the speed with which a particle moves when they are disturbed by the wave. Second, the medium itself does not travel through space. Its individual particles undergo back and forth or up and down motions around the equilibrium positions. The overall pattern of the wave disturbance is what travels. Third, to set any of these systems into motion, we have to put energy by doing mechanical work on the system. The wave motion transports this energy from one region of the medium to another. Waves transport energy, but they doesn't transport matter from one region to another. We will now discuss about periodic waves. The wave that was generated in a stretched string by giving just one wiggle or an upward shake was a wave pulse. But when we give a periodic wiggle or a periodic motion at one end of the string, it is going to transmit like a periodic wave. In the first case, the motion will be known as a wave pulse, and in the second case, the motion will be known as a wave train. This figure shows a method by which we can generate a periodic transverse wave. We have a mass spring system that is tied to the end of a stretched string. So what you see in the dotted line is the equilibrium position of the string prior to applying a periodic motion at one end of the string. When the mass spring system executes a periodic motion having amplitude A, angular frequency omega equal to 2 pi f and period t equal to 1 by f, that is again equal to 2 pi by omega, a periodic wave propagates down the string. The wave that advances through the string is a continuous succession of transverse sinusoidal disturbances. This figure shows the advancement of a wave in a string over a complete period t. The one complete cycle of motion of the wave has been divided into intervals of 1 by 8 t. So you can see that the particle at the very left extreme of the wave motion has maximum amplitude in the first and the last case. Now let us consider three different particles inside the medium. If you inspect these particles individually, you can see that these particles are actually executing simple harmonic motion about their mean position. So that is indicated in the second figure. You can see that as the wave propagates down the medium, the particle in the medium is actually executing a to and fro motion or up and down motion about the reference position. And when the particles in the medium execute to and fro motion, the wave shape advances steadily towards the right. So that is being indicated by the blue highlighted area. When sinusoidal wave passes through a medium, every particle in the medium undergoes simple harmonic motion with the same frequency. The essential difference between wave motion and particle motion is that the wave moves with a constant speed along the length of the string along a horizontal direction, whereas the motion of the particle is simple harmonic and transverse, that is perpendicular to the length of the string. For a periodic wave, the shape of the string at any instant is a repeating pattern. The length of one complete wave pattern is the distance from one crest to the next, or from one trough to the next, or from any point to the corresponding point on the next repetition of the wave shape. We call the distance the wavelength of the wave, which is denoted by lambda. The wave pattern travels with constant speed and advances a distance of one wavelength in a time interval of one period t. So the wave speed is given by v equal to lambda divided by t. But we know that the frequency and the period are related as f equal to 1 by t. Therefore, the wave velocity is given by v equal to lambda times f. The speed of propagation equals the product of wavelength and frequency. The frequency is a property of the entire periodic wave because all points on the string oscillate with the same frequency f. In many important situations, including the waves on a string, the wave speed v is determined entirely by the mechanical properties of the medium. In this case, increasing f causes lambda to decrease so that the product v equal to lambda f remains the same and waves of all frequencies propagate with the same wave speed. Periodic longitudinal wave. To understand the mechanics of a periodic longitudinal wave, we consider a long tube filled with a fluid with a piston at the left end. If we push the piston in, we compress the fluid near the piston, increasing the pressure in this region. This region then pushes against the neighboring region of the fluid, and then a wave pulse moves along the tube. Now suppose that we move the piston back and forth with a simple harmonic motion along a line parallel to the axis of this tube. This motion forms regions in the fluid where the pressure and density are greater or less than the equilibrium values. We call the region of increased density as a compression and the region of decreased density as a rarefraction. So this portion that we see in the figure is the compression, and the portion that is shown in light shade is the region of rarefraction. And the wavelength is the distance from one compression to the next or from one rarefraction to the next. This figure shows the wave propagation in a fluid filled tube at time 1/8 intervals of a period for a total time of 1 period. The pattern of compression and rarefractions moves steadily to the right, just like the pattern of crests and troughs in a sinusoidal transverse wave that we have just discussed. Each particle in the fluid oscillates in simple harmonic motion parallel to the direction of wave propagation, that is left and right, with the same amplitude A and period as the piston. The particles shown by the two red dots in this figure are one wavelength apart and so oscillate in phase with each other. That was our introductory lecture to wave motion. So in this lecture we have learned about the typical characteristics of waves, their classification and their properties. In the next lecture we will try to understand how to mathematically represent wave motion.